Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim. I'm here at the repair shop of Donor Automotive in Anchorage, Alaska. And I got a quick tip for you on replacement of front suspension upper and lower ball joints. Actually the upper control arms, lower ball joints. I'm also going to replace the outer tie rod ends on this 98 Ford Explorer. This is a four-wheel drive version, similar to the two-wheel drive, and quite a few year models that this is going to be similar to. And you are watching the Car Doctor channel. So this customer came in actually on the hook, and the left outer tie rod end had actually completely separated, where the socket popped out of the ball end on the knuckle here and allowed the left front tire to just, of course, move freely like that. So that is kind of scary. Luckily they were going at a slower speed and just were able to pull this side of the road and get it towed down here. But after, of course, inspection, when we got it, I find that the right outer tie rod end is fried as well, and the upper and lower ball joints right here are obviously completely trashed as well. You see that movement here in the ball joint between the control arm and the knuckle. So actually in this case, we're going to replace the upper control arm with ball joint, the lower ball joints, and the outer tie rod ends on both sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and realign the front end. Just one note, I'm using quality Moog parts here. And there is a difference, of course, with the quality of Moog, but also these are the quality Moog. You don't want the R numbers. This is the outer end here, and here's the complete control arm assembly for the left front side. The right front is the two-piece design. There's two different styles of control arms for the right side. This is the two-piece design. Anyway, we're just going to show doing the left front side as an example. Again, this is going to be an edited video for length, so it may appear that the project moves pretty quickly. It's actually probably this is going to be a 4 or 5 hour labor time job, plus the alignment afterwards. So it takes a little bit of time. One, definitely caution you, don't try carrying out major steering and suspension type repairs unless you're qualified to do so. Always use your repair manual. You want to refer to that for proper torque settings. These quality ball joints and control arms are going to come with a little torque spec sheet, so you'll have that info. Anyway, refer to your repair manual for proper repairs. Always do it safely. You want to lift it safely. I'm actually using a 4-post hoist here. I've got it supported safely, of course, and you always want to be sure to lift your vehicle properly on a flat level surface and use jack stands wherever necessary to prevent it from falling on your head, because that would ruin your whole day. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to lower it down here a little bit and pop this tire off and get this thing going. All right, going to go ahead and remove the hubcap, wheel lumps, nuts. By the way, I'm even going to wear my safety glasses today. Another good idea. So, beautiful day to work on a Ford product. Okay, in the process of this failing, you can see here this dust shield on the back side of the rotor got all mangulated by this loose tie rod and this wheel flopping around. So we're going to have to straighten that out a little bit, maybe even cut some of it off, and make sure that doesn't grind on the rotor after we're done. Go ahead and bust that axle nut off of there. Little 1.25 inches. I'm pop the caliper off using a 15 millimeter on the back side. Two 15 millimeter bolts back there. Now I'm going to support the caliper so that it doesn't hang by the brake hose and damage that. Try to compress the caliper a little bit without damaging the hardware on here. Good boy. Better look at that busted up shield. Pretty messed up. We might just take it completely off there and pound it flat. All right, so at this point I'm going to take the ABS wiring loose so that we can completely remove the knuckle. Okay, I'm going to remove this upper ball joint stud here. And we'll remove the cotter pin and the lower ball joint stud nut. Well, 15/16. Then what you want is a Ford tool. This is a Ford tool. You can find these. They're available on Amazon or the Snap-on truck in this case. Specialty Ford tool. You're going to need one of these. All right. Go ahead and whack it right here. The knuckle just below the lower ball joint. See if we can get a better view of this. I want to pound on it right there. There we go. Okay, rather than trying to fight this control arm to get the stud to pop out of this knuckle, I'm going to remove the two upper control arm bolts and we'll just take the whole assembly out, and it'll give you a much easier access to remove that control arm. Just using a 21 millimeter wobbly, 21 millimeter combo wrench, and just get back behind here. Pretty tricky to get these bolts out. So you may have to, as you back out this bolt here, pop this larger of the two fuel lines out of the bracket here, and you'll have to spin your bolt, which has a cam design on the back of it. By the way, you want to reinstall it just the way it came out. I'm not getting a very good view of this, and this is a pain in the butt. I hope you don't have to replace the upper control arm, because it's not a joy to get that bolt out of there, but it can be done. You just gotta work that cam around and get it on the back side of this fuel line, and then weasel it out and angle it up as you pull that control arm out of there. But it can be done. It's just a little bit of a pain. Now we're going to remove this lower ball joint, and it has a little C-clip on top. We'll grab some large snap ring pliers and pop that off of there. Oh, now it broke. And you can either use a ball joint press to get that out of there, or you can go back to using your Ford tool. A good idea to put a little penetrant around the top of the ball joint. And if you are going to use your Ford tool, you just don't want to mushroom out the top of the ball joint, or it's not going to come out. Get it out. Let's go get our new lower ball joint, and we'll set up the press and press this thing in there. You know, I'm going to be using these moved ball joints, and this has the boot that's built into the joint, and it's going to be slightly different than the lower quality joints that you may have to install the boot on. But I'll grab my ball joint press, get that in there. Okay, any standard ball joint press will do. I am using an adapter out of my Astro 7868 ball joint four-wheel drive add-on kit. That'll give you the adapters you need for most four-wheel drive applications. It's basically going to be this tool and this one for up top. This will allow the top of the ball joint to go up in here while adapting our press. So that goes there. And this will go like so. And that's how we'll set this up. this works. Very nice. Stick our new snap ring on. And I'll go ahead and pop my greaser in there. And I'll face the greaser pretty much back, maybe a little bit in, so I can get on it. All right, so now we'll put our upper control arm in. Okay, now we'll install our control arm. Might need a little persuading to get it into place, and then first, put the rear bolt through. Oh, so frustrating. They could probably have done a better job designing this deal. Sucks. Ugh. Okay, once we've got our locator cams in position and our bolts and nuts on there, we're just going to go ahead and tighten down the upper control arm. And this is pretty much going to be level when you tighten it down. And then you'll be good to go as far as the ride height and where those bushings can ride. If you tighten it down while it's dropped down here, then when you lower the vehicle, it's going to load these bushings in here and it'll prematurely wear them. So right about level there, and we'll lock down these bolts here. Want to get them good and tight. using my GoPro today. I'm being kind of lazy, but hopefully you get the idea as far as these bolts up here. Now I'm gonna just reposition my fuel line in the little retainer brackets. And we'll be good to go there. Want to make sure and get our boot on this upper arm and mount this inboard so that when we grease it, it doesn't spray onto the brakes. All right, now pretty much ready to put our control arm back on, but I will service this tie rod end first while we got it in place. It's easier to get to it. We'll just loosen the adjusting nut on the outer end. This is kind of a pain in the butt. Okay. Stick our new end on here. You can count the rotations, but we're aligning it, and as long as you're not moving this adjusting nut there very much, it should be pretty close. Put our grease zerk in while we're here. Alright, let's see if I can get this mess straightened out. I gotta pull the old tie rod stud out of here. I almost think that was original. That's crazy. Unbelievable. Now, this, what a mess. That's going to be tough because this bolt holding it is behind bent up metal. So just kind of cut this excess off. Hopefully our ABS wiring is okay. I think it's okay. We'll double check once we get it put together if we got proper wheel speed. So, go ahead and, okay, let's install our knuckle. And the upper control arm should come with a new pinch bolt for the top. We'll line things up and install that. A little Ford tool action. Okay, we'll snug up the pinch bolt. Torque this to 40 foot-pounds. And we will torque the lower ball joint stud. To 100 foot-pounds. Now we will torque the lower ball joint, the slotted nut, to 100 foot-pounds. And then if we need to, we tighten it until the cotter pin lines up with the castellated nut. So you don't want to loosen it to line up the cotter pin hole. You want to tighten it, but not too much. Oh, we're very close. We just tighten it a little bit. And a little more. And perfect. Put my cotter pin through. All right. Now we'll install our tie rod stud. We'll snug up. outer tie rod end stud. It's torqued to 67 foot-pounds. And also uses a cotter pin. All right, and take the opportunity to torque the axle nut. Actually, we won't torque it till we put the rotor on and the brake caliper, but at this point I'm going to hit the grease zerks real quick. You always want to hit these. They're just loaded from the factory for assembly purposes, so load them up. There we go. Install our brake rotor. And make sure it doesn't hit. Oh, it's pretty good. And I'm going to get a little blue Loctite and put on the 2 caliper mounting bracket bolts. So apply a little blue Loctite on these caliper mounting bracket bolts, and we're going to install the caliper bracket and torque these to 80 foot-pounds. Okay, now we'll torque the spindle nut to 190 foot-pounds, and what I'm doing is just placing a regular screwdriver in the vane of the rotor. That locks the rotor so it doesn't turn and allows me to get the proper torque. Okay, we will route our ABS wiring now and secure it. And that looks good. Now I'm going to reinstall this little rubber splash shield that I took off of here. Now I'll just install the tire. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to take you over to the other side and I'll just show you the difference between this control arm and that one. That one's going to be a whole lot easier to replace if it's the two-piece control arm and we're just doing the outer part. I'll go ahead and show you that first. Okay, just real quickly, here's the outer portion of this two-piece upper control arm here, which is all we need to replace in this case. If your bushings here back at the end of this control arm were bad, you need to replace the intersection of this. But they look pretty good, and really for this vehicle in the overall condition of it, we're not going crazy. We're just doing the necessary repairs. So anyway, just basically line it up and install it. There's an adjustment here which is going to affect caster as an adjustment. But as long as that's locked down, it's going to probably stay the same. And we'll worry about that during our alignment, which we're going to do after we get this thing put back together. Hey, I hope this video was helpful. I'm sorry I missed some of the close-up images without my GoPro in there. You know, no excuse, I was just being a little bit lazy, but I hope this was beneficial and it's helpful to you if you're looking at doing this job yourself. You just want to make sure and get the right repair manual for this vehicle, and use safe practices when you're doing it, and you should be able to save yourself some money. I really appreciate you watching my channel. Please subscribe now, and check out the other vids I got. Lots of Explorer vids. For some reason, these exploders keep me busy. All right, no offense. I love Fords. I've got a few of them myself. We'll catch you next time. Take care.